I'm sorry to say, but in today's commercial world, there's just no room for another white baby actor. There's an influx already.
White babies don't sell.
White babies just aren't selling right now.
Question, who is selling, Brenda?
Well, the Latino market is the fastest growing demographic in the country.
Great, so Mexicans are selling.
Oh, well, DB can play Mexican.
Yeah, DB could definitely be a Mexican. Well, we get him some pistols. He fires them off like crazy. He do the jumping thing, do the jump. He does a Mexican jumping bean.
Tim Pool is putting The View on blast for straight up lying about Trump's proposed $5,000 child tax deduction. The ladies at The View tried spinning it into some racist narrative, like Trump's plan was only for white families, which is complete garbage. As Tim breaks it down, the plan is for all American families, regardless of race. But leave it to The View to see racism where it doesn't exist and ignore facts when it doesn't fit the script. Let's get into it.
I'm sorry, you're racist. That's just the way it's got to be, at least according to The View. The View's Alyssa Farah Griffin and Sunny Hostin brawl over whether Trump's baby bonus plan is racially motivated. They say that Trump is a white supremacist and a racist because now he thinks we have a fertility problem. Well, we do. And the big story here is actually that Trump is floating a plan to increase fertility rates, including $5,000 for a baby bonus as births drop to record lows. Another proposal would reserve around 30% of the Fulbright Scholarship Program to people who are married or have children. Now, Matt Walsh tweeted something out, and I agree. He said that if you are married and have kids, no taxes, and we should increase taxes on single women and single men and women to cover up the difference, to make up the difference. I agree. More so, I agree that I don't know that we need to raise taxes on anybody, but if you are married and have children, maybe it should be if you have 2 kids at least. If you are married with 2 children, you are tax exempt or like reduced tax, something like this. And if you divorce, you lose the benefits, even if you have kids. So you got to stay married. You got to stay with your kids. Now, I know people are going to say, Tim, there will be unforeseen consequences. You are correct. There always are. And we don't know how these things will manifest. So the idea is there, but the execution will require top men. Okay, top minds, women, you're allowed as well. But the idea being, when you create a perverse incentive, it may backfire on you. But anyway, Donald Trump has his plan, and it's racist. Listen to this: having babies is racist.
I want to reframe the issue a little bit, because when I look at something like this, these proposals, I want to know why. And I want to know who's making them. And so when I looked into that, they're saying that the U.S. birth rate is declining. However, in 2024, there was a 1% increase in U.S. births. But that increase was with Hispanic mothers and Asian mothers. So they don't seem to be concerned about that increase. They seem to be more concerned about a decrease in other populations.
Say it.
No, I think I said enough.
It's not based on that.
And so, well, it's just based on a study. And so the other thing
But have they said that anywhere? I mean, I feel like you have to be fair.
It's just
Fair to who?
It's just a.
Have they said that this is to target only white families?
Oh, I didn't say that.
You have to read between the lines.
I just gave the stats.
Yeah, but it's about
economics. They're wanting people to pay in.
I'm just giving facts.
I'm just giving facts. We have to read between the lines. The View's Alyssa Farah Griffin questioned her co-host Sunny Hostin, slyly suggesting that racism was a motivating factor behind Trump's plan to offer financial assistance to new mothers. The administration is currently mulling a plan that would award $5,000 to new mothers in an effort to increase birth rates. Well, to families, not to mothers. Trump, I'm telling you right now, nobody wants women to be paid $5,000 by the government to have babies, because you're going to have a lot of childless kids. I'm sorry, a lot of, what, childless? Fatherless kids. There's another idea that has been floated is a government program that would educate women about menstrual cycles so that they understand the best timing for conception of a child. This comes as the birth rate in the U.S. has recently hit historic lows. According to the CDC, general fertility rate in the U.S. decreased by 3% from 2022, reaching a historic low. That the birth rate for women ages 20 to 24 hit a historic low in the U.S. CNN reported that between 2016 and 2023, the fertility rate dropped by 12%. There have not been any proposals set in stone to reverse the falling fertility rate, the Times reported. However, With some of the administration now in the position to advance the baby boom that President Donald Trump has called for, Transportation Secretary Sean Duffy, a practicing Catholic who has 9 children. Whoa! Duffy, you got 9 kids? Wow. We didn't talk about that in our interview.
The ladies on The View, all they ever see is race. They can't help themselves. But let's get this straight. Trump's $5,000 baby bonus plan is for every parent, white, black, Latino, Asian, every American family. If you have a child, you qualify, period. The real issue isn't race, it's survival. America's birth rate is collapsing. This plan is about building strong families, strong communities, and an economy that can actually function 10, 50, maybe 100 years down the road from now. It's about the future of the country, not some ridiculous fantasy about white supremacy. But of course, the left with their twisted minds can't see that. The second they hear babies and families, they start screaming racism like broken alarm clocks. What a shame that so many people are still falling for this race-baiting garbage.
He has 9 children, has given priority to build infrastructure in areas of the country with higher birth rates. Bravo, dude. Vice President J.D. Vance has advocated for Americans to get married and have more children as well. Yes, we all are. And if you're a liberal, please don't. Anyway, quote, I just think this administration is inherently pro-natalist, Simone Collins, an activist looking to increase the birth rate in America, said. Look at the number of kids that major leaders in the administration have. You didn't hear about kids in the same way under Biden. Elon Musk, a prominent advisor to Trump, has repeatedly encouraged Americans to have more children and has warned that the falling birth rate will become a large-scale crisis in coming years. Yes. Here's what I'm going to tell you. I don't believe that Trump, Elon, and others are racist or trying to boost white people. I think it's actually Sonny Hostin. I'm sorry. Is Alyssa Farah Griffin? I don't know. Who is this? Which lady is this? Alyssa Farah Griffin, slyly motivated. Is that her? Okay. Anyway, whichever one it is. Here's what I think. They're racist against white people. And so they want to make this a racial issue to discourage white people from having kids. They like it that only minorities are having kids. I think Elon Musk is looking at this from a specialist job perspective. If you are running a tech company, you know that population growth is how science advances principally.
Tim Pool couldn't have said it better. These ladies are straight up racist, and they're fueled by pure hate. If this were a Democrat president proposing the exact same thing, there wouldn't be a single word about racism. The truth is, Democrats need racism to survive, even if they have to invent it. That's their whole game, identity politics. Keep people divided, angry, and blind. All right, guys, that's going to do it for today. If you found this video fun, interesting, or Red Pill J Afternoon, smash that thumbs up and subscribe to the channel.